being a part of the show. From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is out on assignment. I think he's doing some practice for Prairie View's homecoming this week. Recognizance or something he talked about. I don't know. But he says he'll be ready for Thursday, but he takes a deep dive and he goes in. Some special thing he does, preparing to be able to run around the yard a couple of years, and I think it's a little more challenging than it was before. I added the last part. He won't tell you that. I added that. That's me. But with that being said, welcome to episode 452 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab Radio Show, the podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports, from institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics, facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, along with my co-host Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KCH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Fame, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Multi-Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper. With that being said, Charles, how you doing today?
Doing well, Doc. Another great action-packed weekend, and now we're right into the thick of things. But we got a champion crown this past weekend.
Good fastball lead up to that, because we're gonna ask Brandon how he's doing, and then we're gonna take a quick break and come back on the other side. We're gonna see if we can bring in the interview. See if we can bring in a champion. With that being said, Brandon King, man, you hot and heavy, man. You got the deal to a big time show. Are you ready for prime time? You ready for prime time? HBCUsports.com writer over there, Sneaker King, as you do all these different things, man. Welcome to the big time. You ready? You started all that mess with ready. So since you're doing all that, we're gonna get you. And you talked about the states, man. I'm gonna have to cut you. How you doing, man?
I just wanted to make sure that they was gonna get there. That's all. I was trying to help facilitate that.
Coach Simmons does not need any help. But with that being said, we're gonna take our first break and come back on the other side. Without further ado, we want to get to this interview. So stick with us. Be right back after this break, and we're gonna get right into it.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
T. Madden and Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients. Call T. Madden and Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Coach, this is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I promise you a big one. We got a big fish, a big dog, big snake, I guess I should say, really. Coach Willie Simmons, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Happy Halloween to everyone.
For all those that are under rock, head coach of the Eastern Division champions, Coach Willie Simmons. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you really tame on that. You got a lot more work and plans that you want to do and get done. So, but you know, life is too short. We do have to celebrate the small things in the moments. And that's the only reason I wanted to bring it up. To your credit, you got it done really before November. As you said, appropriate to everybody. Happy Halloween. And I'm dressed up as a professor, just so you know.
You got the Halloween colors on, Coach.
No black, orange and green.
There you go.
In all seriousness, how did it feel? I mean, there were a lot of things that had to come together. Most importantly, you wanted to play well. And with that, you wanted to come out with a victory. You got the victory. In most ways, I think in most people's estimation, you say you played well, pretty well. I'm sure the things that you always want to correct as the ball coach there. Shotgun Willie Simmons, for those that don't know. You also obviously happen to be on homecoming. So a lot of people were there, more than just usual when you have a really good crowd and brag, as y'all brag differently, as y'all like to say. And then on that, it worked out that Alabama State, the Hornets, beat Alabama A&M Bulldogs, which meant in terms of separation wins and losses, they can't catch you with 2 games left, so you win the Eastern Division. How did you feel after all that, and how did your players feel and coaches?
Yeah, it was a great week, just all together. You know, homecoming at FAMU is always a festive week, a lot of activities, a lot of community, a lot of alumni engagement events and those type of things. So just to see everyone back and, you know, enjoy what FAMU has meant to so many people is always a great feeling. And, you know, the football game obviously had a lot of meaning. More than anything else, is a conference game. Even though it was a cross-divisional game, you know, every game counts in our conference. So just wanted to make sure we continue to control our own destiny. That's something that we've talked about since we started this season. And, you know, we were able to do that leading up to that game. And we challenged the guys to block out the distractions of homecoming and all the things that come along with it and play a complete football game. And I thought that we probably played our most complete game. And, you know, it was great to get the big win. And about midway through the fourth quarter, I was alerted that Alabama A&M had lost. And so we knew going into the game that was a possibility. And, you know, so once we got word, it was a great overall celebration. You know, they posted it on the video board, and, you know, Rattler Nation, 3,000 people were able to see that we were officially the East Divisional champs. And it was just a great feeling. You know, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice that went into it, and just happy for the guys. It wasn't about me in that moment. You know, never is. It's about the players. It's about the coaches, the support staff, this alumni base, my administration, everyone who bleeds orange and green. You know, because this has been a long time coming, and there are a lot of people that are poured into this program, and to see it all come together and us have the season we're having is a testament to all those sacrifices.
Before I pass the mic and let these gentlemen get in here and ask some questions as well, I got to ask this from the framework that I know you are a scholar in your own right in terms of what you came out of undergraduate. Academics were serious, degree in marketing. You understand that platform and what it means to put all that together. There's another conference over there in the MEAC, North Carolina Central. They've been kind of fighting 1 and 2. They did it. They finished things last year, reigning champions. And they really showed up last Thursday against South Carolina State. Coach Buddy Pugh talked about he had to be reincarnated and come back. 2 of the great programs that he was looking at, if folks doing it right, he wished they had their cards. Was Coach Trey Oliver, North Carolina Central, Coach Willie Simmons at FAMU. And I know you can't get into playing this over, but is there a little part in your back that watches and see what they do and say, hey, not only do we want to play well, but we also need to kind of make a statement, top 25 FCS, 1 and 2. Can you at least get in that a little bit?
Well, obviously, first and foremost, and I think I echo the sentiments of Coach Oliver as well. We have the utmost respect for Buddy Pugh. He's the godfather of us all in this profession at the HBCU level. Has done it at an extremely high level for a long time. And what he's been able to do there at South Carolina State is unprecedented, really. When you look at the NFL players he's put together, the championships, just the program that he's built. And so it's always great to get respect from those that you look up to. And I think Coach Pugh has a ton of respect for both Trey and I. So, but as far as just the the overall Black college landscape, of course, I watched the game on Thursday, and they Central played a great game, probably their most complete game. And I know the nation was watching. It was an ESPN game. So they made a statement, and in the back of my mind, I kind of said we need to make a statement as well. And I thought with the big win on Saturday. So we're right there, 1 and 2 in the Black college race, depending on who you ask, who's 1, who's 2. But right now it's kind of setting up to possibly be in Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl. And we both still have a lot of football left to play. So it's too premature to talk about those things now, but midway through the season, a little bit over the midway point, I think there's no question that we're the top 2 teams in all of HBCU football.
I told you, man, I was scholar. The football genius, 2 great coaches answer. Touched on it just a little bit. Yeah, you let us do that. You let us play all that up. You keep doing the work. We'll do the other side. Charles, go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned there's still a lot of football left to play, but I'm going to just follow in behind with the scholar theme. I know you're well aware of the history, the history of FAMU, and how important is it with regards to coming over into the SWAC and this being football's first, divisional championship. The history of that in terms of the great history of Florida A&M football.
Yeah, when you work at a program or play for a program like FAMU, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible to achieve a first. You look back over the hundred or so years we've been doing this, championships, NFL players, national players of the year, you name it, it's all probably been done, at this institution. And so changing conferences, obviously winning our first divisional title in program history in the SWAC, it's a milestone. It's something that can never be taken away from us. We can always say we're the very first Eastern Divisional champ in the Southwestern Athletic Conference for this program. And so it's a huge accomplishment. Obviously, it's not all we want to accomplish this year. We want the narrative to be that we finished it, that we achieved all of our goals that we set out for ourselves this year. And so far, we've hit them all. And so, but we're not looking at all of those things right now. We're not looking at the big picture. Right now, we're looking at this weekend, trying to be 1-0 coming out of Huntsville on Saturday. We've had 2 great days of preparation, and we're looking to have a 3rd and a 4th. And so again, I try to make sure that our team understands that we cannot lose sight of what's important. It's the little things that matter. They'll take care of the big things. And, that's for the fans, that's for media, that's for everyone else to kind of count things up as we go. Where we stand, the rankings, the accolades, we'll let other people count those up. We'll just keeping our head down and working hard every single day. And then at the end, like I said, we'll rest on December 17th, hopefully, and count up all our chips then, and then look back and enjoy the season that we've had. But right now, in the midst of it, it's too much at stake for us to start patting ourselves on the back and resting on our laurels about what we've accomplished so far.
Sure thing.
Yeah, we'll do all the padding. Brandon King, go ahead and follow up.
Good evening, Coach.
Hey, good evening.
Have you found?
He's the young bug. He's new to this, so we're still working on his camera feed. You little document. We'll get it right.
I gotta get my lighting together, but we gonna make it do what it do.
He ain't making no money yet. I gotta write some checks. I don't have step above the intern. Coach, we call him adjunct professors the way we call him on the show. He's working on it, man.
So I'm over here in the copy room. You don't know the copy room. But I did want to ask, obviously comparing from last year to this year, obviously, kind of chasing those Tigers down in Jackson, and then as opposed to this year, where you came into the season kind of the team that everyone would be looking as the team to beat. So have you found it different being the hunted as opposed to being the hunter and getting everyone's best shot every week?
Well, in the aspect of giving everyone's best shot, we've kind of always felt that. And I constantly remind our football team that there are multiple reasons as to why that's the case. One, we were members of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, for forever. And there's a just call a spade. Those two conferences compete against each other. Which one's the best? I mean, you got Celebration Bowl, you got MEAC SWAC Challenge. Their bragging rights, as to which conference is stronger. And so for years in the SWAC, they've heard, the MEAC thinks they're better than you. I was a part of the SWAC for a long time, so I understand how the feeling about the MEAC is. There's a mutual love and respect there, but there's also that kind of, back and forth banter about which conference is stronger. So you add two teams from that conference to the SWAC. Well, you got, 10 member schools over there saying, okay, we're not going to let these MEAC guys come in and run through the conference, because, again, that would push that narrative that, hey, MEAC stronger, they can take two teams and bring them in the SWAC and just run through it. And so for that reason, I think every team wants to really, really put it to us and those little guys down the road in Daytona. And so, that for that reason alone, we're going to get everyone's best shot. And then the second reason, which I remind our team of all the time as well, is that Route the Nation is going to write a ton of checks for us to cash. They're going to talk cash, what, on these chat boards, out publicly. We say we brag different. Oh, we do. And so I'm going to give a lot of bulletin board material to those teams that we're going to play over the weekend. So
right on along in the SWAC. Perfect.
I'm telling you, that part we fit right in. Now we walk right into the Trash Talking Central, and we can talk trash with the best of them. But but for those reasons, it's always going to be bulletin board material, and it's not coming from the coaches. It's coming from fans. It's coming from alum. And that all adds to the pageantry. But whenever you have that type of rabid fan base, you're going to get a coaching staff, a team that really wants to stick it to that team. So, we know every week we're going to get everyone's best shot, no matter what the record is, no matter the venue. We feel like everyone's going to be gunning for us. And now that we're sitting on top of the mountain, even more reason, So we have to definitely be on our P's and Q's and prepare for that every week because, even teams that have had subpar records, they've come in against us and hit us in the mouth early. And we withstood it, thankfully, but Mississippi Valley, Texas Southern, we go into those games as heavy favorites. And before you know it, we're either down or playing in a dogfight. So, I think we started to mature past that. And definitely last weekend, we came out really, really strong. And hopefully we can keep that moving forward as the season goes. But, yeah, I think the FAMU is always going to be that team that gets everyone's best shot every weekend.
I saw him follow up also with the little boys down the street. I think the school down the street. I think I heard that slug too. Charles, you want to follow up?
Yeah, and I actually want to follow up from this standpoint. You're widely recognized offensive guru, but I want to talk about dark cloud defense. And to me, almost being sort of the backbone of this team during the course of this season. Tremendously impressed watching them throughout the course of the season. But what has been kind of the secret to the sauce of sort of where you are with regards to where you are with this program?
Yeah, well, obviously I cut my teeth in this profession as an offensive coach. Played quarterback, coached running backs, became an offensive coordinator pretty young. And I've been calling plays now for the last 15 or so years. But once I became a head coach, I really began to look holistically at our football team. It's not just let's go out and outscore everyone. Let's play complementary football. And I truly believe that championships are won on defense. And how do you have a strong defense? Well, it starts with interior defensive line play. So we really made a commitment here to go out and build not only depth, but, talent at the defensive line position. And when you look at our roster, we're 3.5 deep. We have 7 guys on that interior defensive line that can be in the game at any time. And there's no significant drop-off at either one. There's about 5 or 6 defensive ends that we can roll in and still have production. And so when you can be deep up front, it really allows Isaiah Major, Johnny Chaney, those linebackers to roam. we're always going to be fast and athletic in the back end. We're in the state of Florida, so we look for speed over size and just try to get athletic in the back end. But it really starts with just the attitude of our defense, all led by head coach of the defense, Ryan Smith. He took over in 2021, and his philosophy was simple. You got fast guys, let them play fast. Don't handicap them. Don't try to do too much. Keep the scheme simple, and allow the guys to do what they do best. When you have a guy like Isaiah Land, who rushes the pass as well as anybody in the country, let him rush. And that's all you ask them to do. Let them rush, and we'll play the run on the way to the quarterback. You got cover corners, let them play man coverage. You got linebackers that can run. Don't ask them to be guys that sit in the box all day long. Let them go east and west, run sideline to sideline. So we really do a great job of playing to the strength of our defensive guys, but then also recruiting to how we want to play. We want to be a fast, aggressive defense. We're not a big pressure team. We don't just sit back there and blitz all game. We want to keep everything in front. But if you're going to do that and play quarters coverage, cover three, you better have a defensive front that can hold up against, tight ends, big personnel groupings. And fortunately for us, we've been able to accumulate that. So I think all of it starts with our philosophy, but the defensive line really sets the tone for us. And when those guys play well, it's really, really difficult to move the ball against this bunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to your point, overall, 8 games, was it 15.3 scoring average, and then in the conference, you drop it to 12.3. Less than 2 touchdowns a game speaks to volumes in terms of what that defense has been able to do over the season. Let's get back into it and follow up in terms of this game coming up. Get back to the business at hand. Enough celebration. You have Alabama A&M Bulldogs, and what sticks out to me is the last time you went up to Huntsville, you had to come from behind. There's some things that you were doing in that matchup. But with that being said, Alabama A&M has a pretty solid defense too. What are some things that you look to get done against the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M this weekend?
Yeah, well, it starts off, and this is every week. This isn't specific to Alabama A&M. For us, and I just talked about it on the defensive side, but for us, it starts with up front. We have to be able to establish the run. The last 2 games, we run the ball extremely well. 250 yards against Texas Southern, 180 yards on 20-something carries last week against Prairie View A&M. And so when we can run the ball effectively, every back average over 6 yards a carry, it really, really opens our offense up. We've shown, across this, throughout this season and throughout really our tenure here, that we can throw the football. We can throw it probably as well as anybody in our conference. And so we can run the ball as well as throw it effectively. It really, really makes it difficult to stop what we're doing. And so it all starts with up front, how we handle their movement. They're a team that likes to move around a bunch up front. They'll stem, they'll line up in a 3-down look and then shift to a 4-down, line up in 4-down, shift to 3-down. They try to do a lot to force you to communicate. So for us, it's going to be imperative, being on the road, that we communicate well, that we identify their fronts, know who we're comboing to, and then at running back, we got to be patient and take what they give us. The one thing we got to prevent, the last 2 years we played them, we put the ball on the ground. We've had quarterback, running back fumbles both years we played them. One for picks, scoop and score in 21, and then one a turnover in the short field last season. So that's one thing we got to stay away from, protect the football, be able to run it, and then just be efficient, get first downs. From a defensive perspective, it's simple, stop the run. Xavier Langford has been really, really effective running the football this year. And whenever you have a quarterback that can run, it creates an extra element for your defense to have to be mindful of. So definitely got to understand what they're doing. They run a lot of different formations, a lot of looks. They're very, very multiple in how they try to attack you. And so both sides have their hands full with being forced to communicate, forced to play fundamentally sound, and do the things it takes to win. And so it's a great challenge for us. It really is. Been on the road again. My last true road game this year, and we've shown that we can win on the road. But we definitely, especially now that we've locked up the division, got to make sure again that we don't go in there, full of ourselves, taking this team for granted, that we go in with the same fire and venom that we've shown, this season when we knew that we were playing for something.
Oh, yeah, snakes are dangerous when they're doing fire and venom.
But that does make me ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question as a nervous fan. Situationally, does the philosophy change? Do I get to see more second and third teamers this upcoming week, or it is the game is what it is? So what's the philosophy there?
Oh no, the philosophy is to win. We're going to Huntsville to win the game, and we're going to play it to win. And there's still, like I said, all we've done is sold up the East. We're still playing to host the SWAC championship game, and of course, obviously being a Jackson fan, how important that is to be able to host the championship game. I think it's a great benefit in the conference that the team with the best record gets to host, and so that's still out there on the table. You got two teams on the West, who have one loss. Now they're playing each other this weekend, so obviously that won't be the case after this week. But again, we got two conference games left. They have one loss, so you do the math. We don't take care of business. We may play in the game. We play in the game, but we may not host. So we have to go into this weekend with the mindset of we want to host, and that means taking care of business. If we win this weekend, I think mathematically we're guaranteed to host a SWAC championship game. And so no, this isn't a game of, hey, let's play the starters for a little bit and let's get them out. Now maybe next week, we're playing a non-conference game that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But in conference play, I don't ever think you can take the mindset of trying to be, cautious and pull starters. If there are guys that are injured or that are banged up, that's different. But no, if you got healthy guys, you play them as much as you can, and you do what you need to do to win the game, because we got a streak going. We're playing good football, and I think you want to keep that momentum as much as you can.
Understood.
Great context there. With that, Coach Simmons, we're going to let you go, but before we do that, we allow you to have the last word. Anything that we didn't ask you that you want to get out to the masses, particularly your fans, family?
Well, obviously, just excited about where we are. Route the Nation has been, strong all season. The Marching 100 will be in attendance this weekend up in Huntsville, so I know that will entice our fans to make the trip up to Huntsville and see our band go toe to toe with Alabama A&M's band. So it's just, I think that's one of the beauties of SWAC football, just the pageantry, the halftime shows, all those things. So again, just a great brand of football that we're displaying. I think the conference is in great shape, a good footing, a lot of really good matchups this weekend. So, you guys do a great job of highlighting the SWAC and HBCU football. And I think the nation is starting to take notice of the brands that we put out there. You look at, Central and FAMU and now even Tennessee State, creeping in that FCS top 25. So the more that we can get that national recognition, I think it helps our respective institutions recruit better. It helps us with alumni giving, with exposure, and all those things. So again, thank you guys for what you do. I really appreciate, all the coverage. I appreciate, just the love and the passion, and look forward to hopefully seeing you guys in Tallahassee. There's some pretty good steak restaurants in Tallahassee, Doc. So I'll be.
Coach Simmons, I've booked my stuff. If you continue to do your side of it, I'll honor my side, and I'll be coming in Wednesday. If we can square it around, we'll make it work. Because you're right. I got to get past this fact that a steak is old. We got to make sure we close this out. This has not been a good look. People start to ask questions. Dr. Cavil, what's your steak?
I can say you're not ducking it. I will say that you're not ducking it. Because they haven't had a chance to square up yet. So
hey, and thank God I'm not part of the
you better give my coach a steak.
Hey man, I bring it up this time. Yeah, hey, well, I appreciate you guys, man. A lot of love, a lot of respect for what y'all do, man.
Much love, much respect. We appreciate what you bring to the conference, what you've done for the conference, what you will continue to do, more importantly, for not just FAMU and the alumni over there, but also, most importantly, those students and the coaches that you're around. We appreciate that. With that being said, we're going to take a last break, come back on the other side. We're going to get into it. And you heard it. The Marching 100 will be in Huntsville. On Thursday, we release our band rankings. It sounds like they want to get back in the business of being in the bands. They're going to get on the road. I like it. That's what we judge here. We'll let them do the HBCU champions, so we'll mix that into there too, because they get graded on their side. We just talk about competition. Marching sport, y'all call it, not me. Just letting you know. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you, Coach Simmons. Great job.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
There's a shot.
That might be. It could be.
Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for
HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft. Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being heard.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter. Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Mills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Look at Brandon King. He's moved from adjunct to visiting professor. Good job. Good job. With that being said, we're gonna get into the top 7 mid-major rankings in week number 8. We're going to jump right into it. Get your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Dropping out this week, Edward Waters Tigers, the magic kind of ran out on them. They failed this past weekend. They fell to 5-4, 5-3. Also falling out was the Miles Golden Bears, which probably shocked most folks, especially not just they lost, but the way they lost. They fell to 6-3, 5-2. Receiving votes, though, Miles Golden Bears are still in the mix, 6-3. Just outside of top 7 at 5-2. Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls continues to have a strong season as they improve to 6-3, 5-2. And then you have the Florida Memorial Lions that jump into the top 10 essentially at 5-3, 4-1. That being said, let's get into the top 7. With the top 7, at number 7, we have Fort Valley State Wildcats that are 7-2, 6-1, 129 points. They were not ranked last week. At number 6, you have Tuskegee Golden Tigers, 7-2, 6-1, 138 points, as they also were not ranked. Jumping into the top 5, number 5, Fayetteville State Broncos out of the CIAA, 7-2, 7-0, as they continue to roll and get it done, 140 points. At number 6, that's the Fayetteville State Broncos, the only team that beat Virginia Union thus far this season, if you would. But number 4, you have the Allen Yellow Jackets that just continue to have a magical season. They have a tough matchup this week. We'll talk about that a little later, but at this point, they're 7-2 overall in the season and 5-2 in the conference race. 144 points. They do move up a spot this week. Let's get into the top 3. Top 3 are CIAA heavy, especially out of the Virginia. Speaking about Virginia, Number 3, we have Virginia State Trojans. 8-1 overall, 6-1 in the race, 163 points. They move up a spot from number 3, and they face, guess who this week? The other Virginia school at number 2. That's Virginia Union Panthers, sitting at 8-1 and 6-1, same identical records, 180 points, remain number 2. They create a winner-take-all this weekend. Boy, I tell you, 2 versus 3 matchup for the Northern Division of the CIAA and representative in the CIAA championship game. Doesn't get much better than that. At number 1, yeah, the Benedict Tigers, all they do is win. 9-0, 7-0, 9 first-place votes, unanimous number 1 for the second week in a row, 189 points. They remain at number 1. With that being said, Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of poll ranking mid-major style in week number 8?
It's the shocker for me, the team that fell out. I have no clue what happened to Miles this past weekend, but when I saw the score, I did a double take, just like I did with Virginia State the week prior. Like, it's a misprint. I could not believe it, but kudos to Albany State. That was a huge win. But like you said, Dr. Ville, this upcoming week, you got a showdown, and that's what you this time of the year you live for, these showdowns, especially to see who wears the crown and CIAA. Looking forward to it.
Great point, and I can give you a little more insight on that. It was not bad beats, but a bad break. And I don't mean a literally break, but essentially the first play of the game, quarterback gets hit, and it was tough. Concussion. He was out for the rest of the game, and essentially so were the Miles Golden Bears. So one of those things makes it tough. And it's unfortunate because they were in the race for the second division. Now they need a lot of help. With that being said, let me go to Brandon and let me get his thoughts on the mid-major division poll rankings in week number 8. What are your thoughts, Brandon?
I looked through it, and there was nothing that I could kind of really take exception with. Going back to the Miles thing, anytime you take a beating like that, you're gonna fall several spots, and in their case, out of the rankings. And to follow up on what Charles said, I did not see them getting beat to that degree, because just kind of looking at Albany State, they hadn't really shown the ability to put up points like that really that much this season. So it was really a surprise. I do know their quarterback ended up getting named Boxtoro National Player of the Week off that performance. So kudos to what Coach Gray is doing down in Albany State. But outside of that, the rest of the list seemed pretty solid.
Yeah.
I said so y'all invite me back. So the list was solid.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I didn't even tease this year, but you learn fast. I like it. Yeah, you will continue to come back. You know what you're doing. Unlike Mike Washington, as he's gone on assignment, he gets in here and gets to talking a little too much, and I have to turn off his mic. But much love to Mike, since he's out there preparing for homecoming to make sure when I get down there, it all looks right. But that being said,
the campus run?
Huh? Yeah, he gets ready for the campus run.
All right.
Campus run is, he's got to get it right. Don't want to drop a sweat. With that being said, we'll come back on the other side, and we're going to get into some of these mid-major matchups that we alluded to with the top rankings. So stick with us. We'll be right back after these breaks.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster. absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Mills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's get into these mid-major games of the week. We'll start with the Classic and then the Independent game of the week. The Classic game is a top matchup between a couple of the teams. Remember, we will give you a breakdown on Thursday on the SIC and CIAA games, which feature top 10 matchups all over the board. In fact, there's so many, we'll actually give you a bonus game to look at on Thursday. With that being said, let's get into it with this Classic game of the week at the mid-major level. Columbus, Georgia. Fountain City Classic at Memorial Stadium there. Number 7, Fort Valley State Wildcats, 7-2, 6-1, and they take on Albany State Golden Rams, 5-4, 5-2. Albany State had a big win, even though they just said 5-4. It should be interesting. A lot of implications on the line, depending on what takes place. Both teams want the win to give themselves a chance in terms of playing in the championship game. Both of them need a little help. With that being said, I have Albany State in my overall ranking index at number 13. Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of this Classic matchup between perennial rivals out of the SIAC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to it. And normally when you think about Fort Valley, you think about Kevin Durham and his pass and this Fort Valley State offense. But number one in the SIAC in rush is Brandon Marshall from Fort Valley State. He's going for almost 5 yards a pop, 8 touchdowns on the season, almost rushing for 100 yards a game. I think that is what Fort Valley State is going to carry with this rushing game to get this win over Albany State. I'm looking for Fort Valley and Albany State. I'm looking for Fort Valley W, but it'll be close. I'm looking at somewhere probably 24-14, something to that effect. But I got Fort Valley to get the W.
Thank you when you talk about that. This game is on ESPN Plus. Columbus, Georgia, Bragg Memorial Stadium, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Fort Valley, the Wildcats. Albany State Golden Rams. Brandon, what do you think about the mid-major football out of the SIAC?
Well, this is a game, like I said, I grew up going to and watching and whatnot. So you look at Charles touched on some good points that I was going to make myself, but it's all good. Great minds think alike. But when you look at it, like I said, with Albany State, I think it's going to come down to the Fort Valley rushing game and how Albany State can defend that. Albany State is allowing on average about 142 yards of rushing per game. So if that holds, if they just hold up to that, they're still going to be in trouble. I still, when it comes to the Golden Rams, I don't think that they can score enough. I know that they're offensively speaking, they're sixth in the SIAC at 27 points a game. And I think they had some help with the 48 spot that they put up last week against Miles. So I think I just don't think offensively they have enough. The defense has been playing fairly well for the most part this season. I just think that they just don't have quite enough offense. I know their quarterback is coming off a strong performance. And even if you look at it historically, Albany State's won 8 out of the last 11, 4 out of the last 5. And out of that, they've won a combined score of 173 to 21. But with that being said, I think that Fort Valley will get them. I think it's going to be, you're looking at probably about 31 to 17 is how I would plot that out.
Yeah, he does his work, dude. Charles, you see him dropping scores.
Good job. That's
Putting
what you want.
A little history in there. Growing up, who did you follow? Did you have a rooting interest as you followed this and went to the game back in the day?
Well, yeah, I'm from Albany, so
Okay.
there you go. I grew up, going to all the Golden Rams games back before they had an on-campus stadium, pre-flood even. So
there you go. Good stuff. Let's get into this independent matchup, mid-major. Florida Memorial Lions taking on Thomas Knight Hawks. You know that's over there where A.D. Drew works.
The Fighting A.D. Drews.
Yeah, Fighting A.D. Drews. They need a little help in this matchup. Thomasville, Georgia. They are at home. Veterans Memorial Stadium, Saturday, November 4th, 11 a.m. That's 12 noon, high noon, Eastern time. Number 10, Florida Memorial Lions, 5-3, 4-1. They're trying to stay in the race in terms of that tough conference they over there in the Sun Conference. And then you have Thomas Knights that getting it going, starting the program, 1-6, 1-4 overall. Let me stick with you, Brandon King. What are your thoughts in terms of this non-conference matchup with the HBCU program of Florida Memorial Lions trying to get it done in the Sun Conference?
I think the Nighthawks are going to have their hands full. Their Nighthawk defense they got to deal with a Florida Memorial offense that's averaging 40 a game, which is funny. That doesn't even lead the Sun Division. St. Thomas is the number 1 scoring team at 43.3. That's a freebie for the folks at home. But they're going to get it. They're going to win. I think they're going to win with their running game. So if you look at the Sun Conference, out of the top 10 rushers, Florida Memorial has 3 of them out of the top 10. They average 270 yards a game, and I think they're going to use that rushing game to just overwhelm the Nighthawks. So the Lions are going to win this one going away. It'll be about 45-7. I don't think it'll be that close.
Poor Drew. Keep the motivation. We gave him some love, though. Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
Yeah, Florida Memorial, they're experiencing a rebirth in terms of their football program. Tremendous season, 5-3, 4-1 in the Sun Conference. Players of the week on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. We talk about Saquon Smith, huge game. Program-defining win over Southeastern, first time in their program. They knocked off Southeastern last week. So they got a lot of momentum going into this game, taking on Thomas Nighthawks. You got to go Florida Memorial on this, and like Brandon said, it's that running game that's really going to take over, and you can bludgeon a team on the ground. That says a lot. So I got Florida Memorial big in this one.
Got them running all over the Hawks, the Nighthawks. Man, I tell you, unfortunately, they're not playing at night. With that being said, we're going to take our next break, come back on the other side. We're going to give the top 7 for the major division, close out with those games of the week. It's just getting interesting. We know they close things out in the Eastern Division, but in the Western Division, boy, we got a big one over there to see who's going to get the edge and find a way of can they tie up the Western Division. We'll get into that in a little bit. But with that being said, we'll speak with some independent programs. Tennessee State is rolling. Find a way in one top 25 poll. They ranked in there. We'll see where they ranked in mid-major division right after this break.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and his associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients.
Call T. Madden and Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
There's a shot.
It might be. It could be.
Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We have the two professors, Professor Bishop and Professor King. With that being said, let's get into the Major Division football poll ranking week number 9. See if some things have changed. We had two big matchups last week with the number 1 and 2 team. Thursday night, we had a show out. Then Saturday night, we had another show out. Can the Family Rallies hold on to number 1? We shall see, because we did have one team drop out this week. The Alabama A&M Bulldogs could not get it done in the Magic City Classic. We'll see what that looks like. With that being said, let's look at those teams receiving votes. Grambling State Tigers, top receiving vote getter with 169 points. They're at 4-4, 3-2, still in the thick of things in the Western Division of the SWAC. At number 9, essentially, is Hampton Pirates, sit at 4-4, 2-3. They got a big win over A&T in the Coastal Athletic Association, formerly known as the Colonial, CAA, 150 points. They right the ship after several losses the past couple of weeks. And behind them, Howard Bison. They did get that win over Howard, though. Howard is winning as they got in the MEAC play. They're 2-0, 4-4 overall. Can they get it done this week to keep the hopes alive in terms of the MEAC and set up a matchup of undefeateds the following week against North Carolina Central? We shall see. It'll be interesting. 147 points, but let's get where it gets good. Top 7 programs this week in week number 9. At number 7, we have Southern Jaguars, 5-3 on the season, 4-1, 177 points. They were previously ranked 5, so although they won, they dropped 2 spots. It was a close one. They had to come from behind, but in the win column, where it's most importantly, they got the W over Texas Southern Tigers at home. At number 6, Alabama State Hornets, 4-3, 3-2, 178 points. They were not ranked. They jumped into the polls. They jumped all the way in at number 6. They jumped over Southern. Remember, they did have that victory at the very beginning of the season. So they're in at number 6. Bringing us to number 5, the Alcorn State Braves, 5-3, 4-1, 191 points. They move up a spot quietly. Is there such thing quietly as being 4-1, 5-3?
Not no more.
Right now, they're going to get the victory this week. I think the noise will ramp up quite right and deservedly so. Bringing us to number 4. Jackson State Tigers are 6-3, 4-2, 192 points. They stay at number 4. All they do in Jackson is win, and that's what they continue to do. At number 3, Tennessee State Tigers. Brandon King, your Tigers are back in the football business. 6-2, 2-1, squarely in the Big South OVC race for the top spot, 216 points. They've been there for a minute. We know you know about it. They're at number 3, but they're still in the mix. At number 2, this is where things change. We have a new number 2 this week. Florida A&M Rattlers fall from number 1. They're at 7-1, 6-0. 5 first-place votes that just edged out by the number 1 team. And as you imagine, you know who it is. The Rattlers have 241 points. Big victory over FAMU. But it looks like the voters said North Carolina Central did just a little more. The previous champions are at it again. They climbed all the way to the #1 spot in week number 9. North Carolina Central Eagles out of the MEAC. They improved to 7-1 in a dominant victory this past Thursday at 2-0, 7 first-place votes. So they gained a first-place vote, which flips them all the way to #1, 246 points, just edging out FAMU 244. They going neck to neck. I know everybody else says the conference races are not done, and that's true. But in terms of the rankings, can you imagine if these teams can hold on and face off in the Celebration Bowl? Boy, would it be a good one. A lot of football to be played. We'll see. But at this point, Central improves from 2-1. I see Charles smiling, so I'm going to give him the privilege to go first and see what he's thinking. Let it out, Charles. Let it out.
Style points the rest of the way here with FAMU and North Carolina Central. Who has the better right cross? Who could put teams away quicker than North Carolina Central or FAMU? That's going to be an interesting look-see with 1 and 2 going down the stretch. But we got some matchups this weekend. We got Southern. We got Alcorn. Oh, that's going to be a good one. Looking forward to that game. Wow. Saturday night in Baton Rouge, it strikes again. And it caught up to Texas Southern Tigers this weekend. So can't say enough about that. Jackson State is probably playing as consistent as anybody right now. Jacoby Morgan at quarterback. They've really found a lot of life with regards to them playing quarterback. Big win in the UAPB this weekend. But I tell you what, this is what you want. This is where things start getting real interesting. November football is here, and this is where it gets real fun, Doc. I can't argue with the poll this weekend, but I think things will just shake themselves out the rest of the way. Yeah.
Charles, I'm glad you stumbled on that a little bit and talked about that 5 versus 7 matchup that goes down and will be on ESPN Plus. It's for the top of the Western Division, and somebody might get a chance to really put a little stranglehold on it. Obviously, you'll be out on assignment on Thursday, so you didn't get to talk about it in depth, but I'm glad that you put it out there. Folks understand that you know football, and that is going to be the place to be in terms of turning on your television this week. If you can't get down there, because we know the Braves and the Jaguar fans will be there loud and proud.
Loud
is the major word that we are stressing today. Loud. With that being said, I'm sure Southern is bringing the band, the Human Jukebox, so we got another matchup there that takes center stage. That should be a good one too, as well as is getting a good time, because you're talking about you only have one more chance to put your film on tape and send it over there for that band matchup in terms of HBCU band. I talked to Grant. If you get a chance, go back and check out Brian and AD. It was a great show as they brought the directors on, if you would, in terms of managing that process, and they break it down. They really get into it. A lot of good talk in terms of what it means. You got one more. You're essentially going to have your top 5 come out of that based on the next release, and then you go down and you start finalizing who's going to be the top 4 teams in the major and the top 4 in the mid-major. This is important when you talk about these show matchups more than one way.
Treat yourself to go back on YouTube, because the juke went hard this past weekend. That was more. Your guys came through this weekend. That was tight. I enjoyed that show.
Yeah, they made sure that they saw the poll rankings fall out. They wanted to make another statement. Hey, our early demise has been greatly exacerbated. I hear you, Human Jukebox. Shout out to Edwin. He told us they coming. Also, I want to give some love to the MEAC. This is 2 weekends in a row where they had the visiting band travel on Thursday for their ESPN matchup. Now, if you're going to talk about your TV and brands going to be on there, yeah, you can complain, but you ask for TV. When you get a chance, you got to show up and show out. They brought the bands. And then they had 2 subsequent band matchups outside of that on Saturday. MEAC is figuring it out. They're getting the teams, they're getting the bands, programs, and they're hitting the road. One thing that they haven't done in the past. So credit to the MEAC in terms of showing out. With that being said, Brandon, I know you don't get a lot of the love in terms of the independent program. That's not your fault. Tennessee State is over there in the Big South overseas, but they do play a couple of matchups. So they got some love and they got some band credit in there early. We'll see if it's enough. I'm interested in what band Aristocrats going to send in. Obviously, the good thing for them, it's not about a band matchup. So they don't have to worry about my poll rankings. HBCU Sports Grammy and all, they'll get a chance to get it done. With that being said, more importantly, what are your thoughts on my top 7 major division ranking?
Well, I can say it looks pretty good this week. Now, next week it has a potential to be in shambles after what might happen this weekend. But when you get Southern, obviously, as Charles alluded to, how you win matters. And even while winning is good, sometimes in terms of poll rankings, ugly wins can have ill effects in terms of rankings. But you look at, I said, Alcorn, the quietest 4-1 SWAC team I think I've ever seen. They're just like that. They just go about their business with their lunch pail and their hard hat. They just go under the radar and they just keep winning. Mm-hmm. So I think before it's all said and done, Fred McNair's bunch down there, they're going to have a say over who comes out of the SWAC. So obviously 1 and 2, we've been talking about them all year. They both went out and took care of business in rather decisive fashion. Nice. Tennessee State makes an appearance. They're one of the hottest teams in HBCU football. So all in all, I thought the list was solid. And I just want to say this before we wrap on the polls. I know on Sunday, Reverend Professor Sims was running some smack on my Tigers, saying we didn't want to see them. I'm just going to say this. That's not a challenge we would back down from. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Brandon, you know what the heat? I like that. I like
Tennessee State back in the talking business. Look at this. Come on,
yeah, they're back in the talking business. They must be playing smack football over there. I was going to add this since you brought it up. I ain't going to do that. It would be interesting if part of that 6-2 was the fact that they were 6-0 in the SWAC or 7-0 in the SWAC. And then you had a game coming up like next week that featured FAMU at Tennessee State for a divisional championship to go to the celebration bowl. That would be a little interesting, but no, not to be. With that being said, let's go to the break before I make the people mad and break the internet. We'll take our last break. We'll come back on the other side and talk about some of these independent and classic matchups that we have going down this week. Stick with us for our last break. We'll come back on the other side, close things out.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being heard.
It's press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's get into our major division games of the week, starting with the major division classic game. It's in Mobile, Alabama. Ladd Peebles Stadium, Port City Classic is what they call it, going on this week, where you have a number 8, Grambling State, 4-4, 3-2, playing pretty good football as they've wrapped things up and got it going back in the right direction. And number 6, Alabama State Hornets, that people are really excited about, starting slowly. People are not talking as much trash now. The Hornets are rolling 4-3, 3-2. They've gotten some big victories in the Eastern Division. With that being said, I'm going to go to you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of this top 10 matchup between number 6, Alabama State, hosting Grambling State in Mobile, Alabama?
Tremendous matchup. But when you take a look at it, this is going to be a classic offense versus defense sort of matchup. When you take a look at it, Grambling State, they are the number 2 ranked offense in the SWAC. They're putting up 30 points a game in the SWAC. And to me, if you take a look at taking on this Alabama State defense, 3rd-ranked defense in the SWAC, but it's a bear trying to run on Alabama State. So this game is going to rest on the arm of Miles Crawley. If he is effective and is not turning the ball over, I think Grambling has more than enough offense to win, because I just think Alabama State, they're going to crowd the box. They're not going to allow guys like Floyd Chalk to beat them. This is going to have to be a Miles Crawley Lyndon Rash type game. So I got Grambling, but just by a little bit in this. It's going to be a low scoring game. They got to at least get to 20 points. So I got Grambling 20, Alabama State 14 in this one.
Ooh, interesting call. So Grambling keeps it tight in the West, keeps them on the edges, it looks like you're saying. Let me go to you, Brandon. What are your thoughts in terms of this top 10 matchup? Number 8, Grambling State, 4-4, 3-2, won the last couple of games, and then Alabama State as well. So both of these teams are playing pretty good football. Offensively, Grambling has probably slipped just a little bit, but their defense is playing much better as well. On the other side, Alabama State's offense has improved some. Their defense is still lights out. I want to know what your thoughts in terms of this Port City Classic matchup.
I think it's definitely going to one of the factors will be the Grambling defense going up against that Alabama State offense. That sometimes, they've been kind of up and down. They're not even averaging 20 points a game. They're 8th in the SWAC at 19.3 points per game. So, looking at that, will they be able to generate enough offense on the improved Grambling defense to actually win the game? I do agree with Charles. I think it's definitely going to come down to Crowley. If he can, not kind of get too hyped because of who he's going against once again, some old mates, I'm sure. If he can, stay within himself and not turn the football over, and play at the level he has largely throughout the season, I think he gives Grambling an excellent chance to win. I think that it's more likely that Grambling will score enough to win the game than Alabama State's offense will explode enough for them to get the W. So I think it will be a hard-fought game. I would say 24-17. It won't. Nobody's getting 30 in this one.
I can see that very well. With that being said, let's go to our independent matchup and what Brandon's been waiting for. North Charleston, South Carolina, Buccaneer Field. Number 3, Tennessee State Tigers, as we just unveiled, 6-2 on the season, 2-1 in the conference race. They're on the road at Charleston Southern Buccaneers that are 3-5 overall and just 1-2 in the race. This one is on ESPN, 3:00 Central Standard Time. Brandon, what are your thoughts about the Fighting Tigers? Your Tigers are back in the football business. Can they hold on and get it done and keep the momentum moving forward?
I think they've got to come out and take care of business against this Charleston Southern team. They're a triple option attack, which is not something that you typically see a lot. So they've got to be prepared for that. If you look at Charleston Southern by the numbers, offensively, they're not exactly potent. They're averaging about 14, right under 14, well, right under 15 points, 14.8 points per game, but they're allowing about 32 points a game. So the thing for them, the TSU defense will have to stay disciplined and stay in their lane and just not allow that triple option to chew them up all day. Defensively, I think the Tennessee State defense, I think they're the unit that has played consistently the best all season long.
Yeah.
With the whole switching with the quarterbacks and things of that nature, the offense has been kind of up and down. There's been a lot of issues as far as overall consistency, but the defense has been that one factor. Even last week against Lindenwood, they gave a couple cheap touchdowns in the second half, but that first half they were absolutely lights out. Terrell Allen is playing just dominant football right now. He's had 10 sacks over his last 3 games, and the past 3 weeks he's won either shared or outright won the Conference Defensive Player of the Week award, and he's leading the nation in sacks at the FCS or the FBS level. So if he continues to play the way he has, and that defense continues to play how they've been playing all year, Tennessee State should have enough to get the win over Coach G, the former Albany State coach, who's now the head man at Charleston Southern.
Good point. I forgot that he did move over there to go back to his alma mater, get that job there and see what he can do. So this will be intriguing matchups. Coach Eddie George doesn't have to worry about attendance this week after he's been at the comfort zone the last 3 weeks. He's on the road. He continues to make statements, though, in regards to how well his football team is playing. So much credit to what the Tigers are doing. Good football being played up there in Nashville. With that being said, Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
And a defense shall lead them. I think this is going to be a huge game for Tennessee State's defense. I'm going to echo Brandon on this. This has to be a big game for guys like James Green, Monroe Beard, those guys, Terrell Allen, in terms of taking on this triple option. And big thing with triple option, everybody knows, no guess. Hit who you're supposed to hit. There's no secret about that. And other than Colton Bubba Adams, Tennessee State's linebackers are 2 of the illest linebackers, I think, in HBCU football. When you're talking about James Green, Monroe Beard, a good stat. Tennessee State has had 7 Big South OVC Players of the Week honors this season. 5 of those weeks has come from the defensive side of the ball. So they're playing lights out on that side of the ball. I think Tennessee State gets the W, and they continue the momentum.
Good stuff there, Charles. When you talk about the matchup there in North Charleston, be interesting as they get going. 8-hour trip over there to North Charleston, 8 hours and 18 minutes to be exact, at least according to the Google Maps out there. With that being said, let's get out of here. I want to say thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop. Make sure you check us out on Sunday as we have B.J. Jones, Joshua Sims Sr., and A.D. Drew join us as we close up and give you all your notes and needs. But before that, we'll do it again on Thursday. Bring it up. Make sure you share and get some love. Continue to go to hbcusports.com. Check out Brandon King, where you can get all his information. Follow him on Twitter as well, as he will give you the latest and greatest. And make sure you have all your inside information on HBCU sports in general. Specifically, he'll certainly make sure you get your news on Tennessee State as he gets all that information to you. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Again, Sunday at 9. We look forward to Thursday as we give you a little news. I'll be on the road. I'll be in New Orleans at the NAS conference, but I'll get on there and make sure we give you some updates and get the show going. Charles will be out, but we'll have some folks bringing in here. It looks like we will be giving you some good love with the CIAA SIE as we're going to bring SIEC, I should say. We'll have Stephen Gaither come in here and give us some updates of what's going on in the CIAA. where AD Drew, the specialist there, giving you some information on the SIC with those key matchups of those games that in a lot of ways going to determine who's going to be playing in those championship races. With that being said, again, I want to say thank you. Look forward as we continue to give you great news of HBCU. Special thanks to Brandon King coming in here and dropping the knowledge, doing what he does. Continue the great work. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattaCavil. For all those celebrating or entertaining Halloween, happy Halloween to you. Stay safe. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Twitter. That's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook and YouTube. Again, I'm dressed like the professor, so I'm in doing it big. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Horse.
Brandon.
Lecture.
Dismiss. Man, he get an A+. Brandon, A+.